I'm Cris Mills with surfstrengthcoach.com. Surf, performance training, health, exercises you can do at your home. One, get a slack line. They're fun, they're challenging. It's a lot of good information for the nervous system, center of gravity control over an unstable surface, and they're challenging. Get a slack line. Lower body strength, control, and mobility. As a surfer, you find yourself compressed into big bottom turns, compressed, kind of barrel crouches, to huge kind of almost lunge positions when you're going through kind of big, fins out turns. So mobility plus strength and control. The toe clock. First, people need to learn how to use the hip joint. What I mean by that is you'll see in this exercise, people want to just go knee forward. We want to use the hip as well. These huge muscles around the hip, gluteus maximus, all the hamstrings. Control the pelvis. So as you do this, think of sitting the butt back. You want to feel this muscle working. You're standing in a clock face. 12, 1, 2, get the idea. You come as low as you can, driving the hip back, controlling the knee. So don't collapse inward. If you collapse inward, it's hard on the knee joint. You're not controlling the foot and ankle. So tap 12. Only come as low as you can control. Tap 1, tap 2, tap 3. You might only be able to come here before the knee caves in. That's exceeding your limit of stability and control. So only come as far out, pushing the hip back, that you can control. 6, 7, all the way through to 8 or 9 if you're capable. From the side, using the hip looks like hip back. So the knee can come forward, but it's not all knee. It's sharing the load between the joints and muscles of the whole lower body. Back stays straight, no rounding. Taps. I like to have people go 3 times through non-stop. Get to that. It's all about control of the knee, ankle, hip. Something called a shrimp squat, where it's working on a lot of mobility of ankle, knee, and hip, and strength and control. If you have knee problems, be cautious with these. It's basically a single leg squat, working towards a pistol squat. Control down, back up, just to where this knee taps. If you've got weight and you're capable of doing body weight for 5, 6, 7, 8 reps, you can start adding some weight to it. But you need optimal range of motion through ankle, knee, hip to be able to get down, up. Really good drill, one of the more advanced ones for the lower body. You're only as young as your spine is healthy, or a clever saying like that. Back pain in life is a problem. Back pain in surfing is a problem. Modern life gives you a lot of opportunity to neglect your spine. One really good thing, foundation training. I urge you to check out their website. I have a blog on surfstrengthcoach.com written about foundation training. Eric Goodman and his crew have done a fantastic job, foundationtraining.com, to give some insight into this. This is a very, very short overview. Learn how to do a founder and some other basic movements. Some aspects. Anchoring. Go to their site. You'll see what all this means. Get into their resources. Knees, shins, vertical or back. Most people want to bring knees forward. Hips back. Anchor. Using the breath to expand, engage, and lengthen. Then coming up into so that's roughly what a founder looks like with variation. Check out their site for more details. I use it every day in some variation or aspect with myself and with clients. Really beneficial. Keep your spine feeling good. Crawling patterns. You may have seen various aspects of dynamic crawling, reptilian crawling. Whatever aspects you do, you need to start with the basics of core control, good shoulder control, and then you can get more dynamic. The basics is just a stable crawl. So good crawl position. Don't bring your butt up. Once you bring your butt up, it's reduced the amount of control out of the core. So butt stays low. Think of balancing a glass of wine on your low back. Nothing moves except toes and hand. Forwards and backwards. You'll see most people do this and they'll sway left to right. It looks like this as they crawl. So there's no actual core control, right? Stability. Balance that glass of wine on the low back. You can then start to get more dynamic with these by starting to get lower to the ground. Why is this beneficial to a surfer? It's just a complex movement of various pushing and various core control. And as you get more dynamic with it, lower to the ground, it starts requiring a lot of hip mobility as well. So there's no direct carryover per se. It's just a beneficial movement that you can use to expand your ability to move. Duck divings and pop-ups, it's a pushing movement. So you need to train some pushing. It's also just a healthy mobile shoulder, which is really good for paddling. So get efficient at a standard, tight, controlled push-up. No head sag, no core sag. I could be able to have a dowel rod on my back with no movement. Straight down, straight up. What's an average push-up look like? Sagging core, so no core control, dropped head. That is a completely disgusting push-up. So you just get everything in alignment. As if you were standing vertically, everything's in line. You take that into a push-up pattern, utilizing core control and a stable shoulder. You can start progressing that into what some people call a yoga push-up, and that will lead into some kind of dynamic push-ups as well. So yoga push-up is a combination with the downward dog. Push up and then come up into a downward dog. Mine is not the greatest. Press. But what you're starting to do is train pressing instead of just straight here. You're getting a wider range of motion through the shoulder. So it's just beneficial for shoulder health. There's certain mechanics happening at the scapula, upward rotation, which is beneficial for optimal shoulder range of motion. Drop into the push-up, press through the balls of the hand, drive into that downward dog. Mine is not that great. You can then progress into an even more dynamic push-up. You'll see these referred to as different names. Drop down, squeeze, and you can reverse it. Some people call those dive bomber push-ups. I know they have a yoga name, which escapes me at the moment, where again, you're just working on different pushing positions, taking that shoulder through a full range of motion. A couple keys with that. As you come down and then up, really focus on getting your thoracic spine, so your upper back into extension, okay? As if you're trying to get your chest to point forward. That's important because people are too hunched over. This computer posture, the thoracic spine doesn't move, so when they come up into that kind of seal position, thoracic spine doesn't move, they shove all the range of motion into the low back and into the neck. That's a problem, so think chest up. Also squeeze the glutes, it helps protect the low back. So as you come from here, glutes tight, pull the shoulder blades back, lift the chest, and then you reverse. In the hallway, training in your home, right? Go out to your garage and get the pull-up bar that's been sitting collecting dust for the last couple years, or pick one up at a garage sale for like $5. Really beneficial. Strength and pulling, in this vertical pulling. It means you just have good shoulder range of motion. Two things you can really start working on every day, right? One is just hanging. So my knees and toes are not on the ground, right? I'm just dead hanging. So we call this a passive hang. This is just dead weight. If you have shoulder issues, you need to work into that slowly. And that's just working on your ability to get the arm up overhead. Most people are kind of, yeah, too stiff. Get arms up overhead. It's working on some just basic hanging. 10, 15, 20 seconds, right? Several reps. And we also start working on active, where we're pulling the shoulder blades down. So that's working on all the scapular muscles for adequate pulling, right? And we can start alternating between 5 to 10 second holds of active and passive. And as with any pulling, we want to start getting into pull-ups and chin-ups because it's beneficial, but none of these necky chin-ups, pull-ups. Use that active control so you feel what it's like. Active, keep it there. If you have one of these at your house, every time you walk by it, bang out some reps. And over time, you will accumulate a huge amount of volume. That's just quality pulling strength for paddling. Kind of relevant. Use it. Training you can do at your house. You don't have an excuse. If you want more, check out surfstrengthcoach.com.